Today's episode is all about making the haters mad. Nashville Predators pick up a big weekend win and lots to break down over a up and down past week for the Nashville Predators. We'll do that in our weekly plus minus segment. A jam-packed show coming up today on the Locked On Predators podcast.
You're Locked On Predators, your daily podcast on the Nashville Predators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Predators your first listen of the day, every single day. We are your free daily Nashville Predators podcast that's available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. I'm Nick Morgan. I'm a writer and editor at ontheforecheck.com, and I have a partner in crime.
You do. I am Ann Kimmel. I'm a writer and editor at InsideThePreds.com.
All right, Ann, we have a new show sponsor that's sponsoring today's show. Let's give a shout out to FanDuel Sportsbook. It is now the official sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com locked on today to get started. FanDuel.com/locked on, I should say. Great start with our new sponsorship when I'm already botching the links. But hey, welcome FanDuel. You're sponsoring today's show. And weird weekend. Weird weekend in the Nashville Predators kingdom. But an important weekend if you're a Nashville Predators fan. A 5-3 win over the Los Angeles Kings that puts the Preds still in the middle of that playoff race.
Another day, another game, a better game than we saw earlier in the week, which of course we're going to get to all that plus minus. But again, we kind of land in that same spot. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with the Nashville Predators down the stretch. I don't know.
No.
Hard to say, but they did have, and I think we need to talk about this. They did have Saturday morning a closed door players coaches meeting. And just from how it has been described, it was very frank. I think it was about accountability. I think it was, very honest discussion. And I think the team responded really well to probably having some very hard conversations Saturday morning. They responded really well Saturday night. Like you said, 5-3 win over the LA Kings. LA Kings, that's not nothing, friends. So very interesting weekend inside the Nashville Predators organization on a number of levels and outside the Nashville Predators fandom on another number of levels.
Yeah. I like to think that in the locker room, the conversation was just, how do we make the haters mad? Let's find a way to make the haters mad, Ann.
Yes. And what would do it the most? And Cole Smith goes, "Ooh, I know. Call on me. Pick me. I have an answer."
It's like we need some way to make this most. And I just picture like everybody's head turning back to Cole Smith, who's like leaning against the back wall in a leather jacket in aviator glasses, smoking a cigarette or something like that by the jukebox and being like, right. Yeah, it's like it's just like walks in like, I'm your Huckleberry, like Val Kilmer from Tombstone, where he just kind of walks in.
Yep.
Just like, right. I just believe it's like, I believe this might be my time to score a first NHL goal.
That's right. Like, what could we do to make the haters hate the most? Well, there it was, friends. Saturday night in Smashville, Cole Smith, first NHL goal. First of all, can we just say, congratulations to Cole Smith. Like,
yeah.
I don't, and we're going to get into it. I don't care about any of the other things except to say, look at this guy working his butt off and achieving something. Like, this is a little kid dream. This is the thing when you're playing street hockey, you dream about your first goal and how hard he's worked. So shout out to Cole freaking Smith. I got to learn his middle name. I got Ryan Patrick. Cole, I don't know. But shout out to him. First NHL goal. So
Cole Hater Mad Smith.
Cole Hater Mad Smith. And Also, shout out to Cole Smith when he was asked in the post game, what are you going to do with the puck? He said, probably give it to my mom.
Yeah.
Stop making me like you so much more.
And you know what? Here's a good place to start our plus minus. It is our Monday plus minus. We give pluses each week to the things we like about the past week of Preds hockey, minuses to the things that we didn't like. And as Ann mentioned, let's just dive into Cole Smith, who's our first plus. And like you said, Ann, this is a guy who I think in different circumstances for the Predators fan base this season.
Yes.
Maybe like different circumstances for the franchise and the fan base. Would be a beloved player. Like, his first NHL goal would be, would have been like a big celebration, not just for the team, but lots of fans and people sharing posts and stuff like that.
Yes.
In a different situation, I think, because if you look at Cole Smith over the past few, months, he's played some really good hockey. And look, he got his first NHL goal, but he had generated a lot of really good offensive plays before that. You can easily say he was snake bitten if you look. In fact, our buddy Brian Baston put out some good stats on Cole Smith over the weekend, and among all NHL players who have yet to score a goal this season or who hadn't scored a goal at that point, Cole Smith was the one who had generated the most expected goals, the most offensive chances of any player who hadn't scored yet. So, I mean, that's he's just not some throw-in player. He was actually doing some pretty good stuff on the ice. And I think it's just people have kind of chosen not to like him because he's not Phil Tomasino or, there's that. And, we was talking to Sean Smith over the weekend. And I think he put it in a very, very a good way. I think there's two different conversations. You can still have a conversation on the Cole Smith lineup decision. Should he be on this team? Are there better options than him? And then there's a conversation about Cole Smith himself. When he is out there, is he doing enough? Is he contributing? And yeah, in the role the Preds are asking to play, yes. Yes, he is. And you can still be happy for him doing that and being happy that he scored his first NHL goal. There's multiple conversations there that I don't think you have to cram together.
Right. I would agree with that. And I think it's so interesting. Like you said, I love the point that you made. This is somebody who, if you were to describe his style of play, this is somebody who the Nashville Predators fan base normally would embrace. He's a little bit Tanner Jeannot-ish last season, minus the goals. I get that. But he's very much...
And this year, he's just been Tanner Jeannot.
This year, he's just... Bless. We're working on that one for y'all.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? This is somebody who played like last year's Tanner Jeannot. And I mean, people wanted that jersey and people loved Tanner Jeannot and people this and people that, because he was this hard hitter and he was this grinder and he was this I'm going to go in the corner against the boards and I'm coming out with a puck. And, sometimes I may take some penalties. Sometimes I may throw down the gloves and fight. But just he plays with kind of that style of hockey and that intensity of hockey. But for some reason, and maybe it is who he's not.
Yeah.
But if you look at
100% who he's not.
But if you look at who Cole Smith is on the ice, this is a player that Nashville typically respects. So it's who he's not. Have that conversation, but also have the conversation of, hey, congratulations. You just scored your first NHL goal. And I don't care who you are, aside from Corey Perry. Congratulations. You deserve to be celebrated in that moment.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's a good kudos to Cole Smith.
Yep.
Because I think he has done a lot to earn his first NHL goal. And look, again, like I said, there's a different conversation as to whether or not he should be in the lineup or are there better options in the organization. I get that.
Mhm.
That's a different conversation than being happy that when he is on the ice, he's doing what he needs to do and he's contributing to the team.
Yep.
So I think that's a good way to kind of wrap that whole thing up in a tidy little bow.
Yes.
And there's a lot more to talk about over the past week of Preds hockey because even before that Los Angeles Kings game, there were some other games that weren't exactly good. So there's plenty of pluses and plenty of minuses to get to, and we will do them all coming up here on today's Locked On Predators. But first, want to take a second and mention today's show is sponsored by Athletic Greens. They have a product I use literally every day, AG1. Started taking it. I've talked about this before because they just sent me a free little supply of it. And so I started taking it. Was a little bit skeptical at first, but it tasted great. So I kept doing it. And then after a while, I started noticing some health changes. I had more energy throughout the day. I didn't have that late afternoon crash where I just wanted to crawl up into the bed and take a nap. I had more energy, focus, mental clarity, that kind of stuff. And it started after I started taking AG1. So you may be asking, what is this stuff? Well, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy, recovery, focus, aging, pretty much all of the things. Yeah, it's lifestyle friendly. So whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy free, gluten free, whatever, it fits into your routine. And it contains less than 1 gram of sugar. So no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, anything like that. And it costs you less than $3 a day, which is cheaper than your daily coffee habit. And you're spending all that money on a all-in-one daily nutritional insurance. So right now it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just one scoop of AG1 in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL network. Again, athleticgreens.com/NHL network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, Ann, rolling on with plus minus from the past week in Predators hockey. What do you think, Ann? Should we go plus again, or should we dip into some minuses?
Let's go plus again. We are optimists,
Yeah,
if nothing else.
let's keep the momentum rolling, shall
Let's
we?
keep the momentum rolling. Okay, so my first plus actually may be the perfect time for this one because it's going to sound like a minus, but it's really a plus. So I'm going to need you to hear me out on this one. But my first plus is the Nashville Predators getting an early lead in the game Saturday night and then losing it. That's my plus. Let me explain.
I kind of see where you
You
might
see
be
where I
going
might be going with this? So the Nashville Predators went up in the first 40 seconds 2-0 against the LA Kings, in case you missed the game. 2 very quick goals right out of the gate. And then the LA Kings scored 3 goals to get the lead back in by the end of the second period. Here is what is a plus about this. It's something that Nick and I have talked about on the podcast. When the Nashville Predators get punched in the mouth, they tend to not be able to recover. And Saturday night, they got punched in the mouth. They wiped their mouth off and they just got back in the ring and kept fighting and kept swinging. And for me, that is such a sign of a team that had good conversation in their team meeting, that said some hard things, that understood what is required to be a competitive team in the NHL. You have to be strong physically, but you have got to be strong mentally. And so great that they had a good, strong start. But I also think it was great that they took their foot off the gas a little bit. LA pushed back. The Predators were down, and they never looked defeated in that game. They just kept grinding. And that's something that we haven't necessarily seen from the Predators like we did. That was a huge part of that 2017 Cup run. Just, you know what? Doesn't matter if we're down. We're just going to keep going, see what happens. So for me, that was a huge plus to see them kind of get rocked back on their heels and go, nope, we're just going to lean into the fight and keep going. So for me, big plus. Sounds like a minus, mean it as a plus.
Yeah. And that's where and I think I know where you're going with it because I agree. And we talked about this. It might have been after that St. Louis game where it doesn't seem like this team handles adversity well. And this time they did. And who knows whatever they talked about at that closed door meeting. But you can maybe say that maybe this had something to do with it because we did see the Predators respond. And again, you and I kind of had that same thought when Quentin Byfield made it 3-2 right at the end of the second period. And we're like, same thing.
Here we go.
Like exact same thing. Here we go again. We know the narrative for Monday's episode. And then you saw it right out of the bat that third period. I know Ryan Johansen didn't score until maybe about halfway through, but you saw that jump in the third period. You saw them swarming where it just looked like it was like they were determined this isn't going to be how this game ends.
Yes.
You saw that energy right out of the gate in the third period with a couple of really good shifts right off the bat. And then, once that power play goal happened, which we'll get to that, you saw the floodgates open and the Preds, it wasn't like, oh, we're back in the thick of things again. The Preds just kept swarming and swarming and swarming.
Yes.
And that's what you want to see. Like, that's the kind of play that you need from this Nashville Predators team. They got hit in the mouth,
they did.
In that second period, especially, and they came back. That's what you need to do to be an elite team in this NHL. Not saying the Preds are 100% there yet, but we saw them come back and pick up a big win after being in a hole to start the game.
Yeah, I agree. And they played with confidence. They didn't look like they were rattled. They just kept doing the work that got them the good quick goals to begin with. So yeah, for me, that was a huge plus for me. What about you? Are you going to go minus? Are you going to go plus?
What should I go?
Go plus.
Go plus.
It's Monday. We all need extra pluses on a Monday.
We all need to make the haters mad, Ann.
Let's
my
go.
Plus is, I talked about it a second ago, might as well do it. The Preds power play from Saturday. Now, if you're looking over the full week of Preds hockey, Predators power play is not in that. But Predators were 1 for 1 on the power play against the LA Kings. Their only power play, and they scored a goal. And you know what, Ann? You know what I noticed about that?
What's that?
What did we say last week when we're like talking about changes to the power play? What did we talk about in terms of personnel?
Yeah, go. They went back OG.
They went OG to the lineup last year that had that success. Ryan Johansen, Matt Duchene, Philip Forsberg, Mikael Granlund, Roman Josi. That was the power play unit that was dominant in the NHL last year. One of the best power plays in the entire NHL last year. And as we talked about it last week, where they really hadn't gone to that much this season, not since like the first month or so. They've been mixing in guys. They've been, moving some guys up and down to different units, bringing some of the younger guys in. And you and I said it. We would like to see them just reunite that OG line.
Yes.
And look what happened. I mean, it was like right off the bat, too, just like, a few seconds into that power play. And Ryan Johansen finishes off a pretty good feed from Mikael Granlund, who I thought had a pretty good game on Saturday night after a rough stretch.
Yes.
And that's what we wanted to see. And you know what? This is how you judge where your team is right now. Just put all of your big guys together. Don't try to do too much. Keep
Mm-hmm.
things simple. And we mean that both on the ice in terms of strategy and also in the coach's box when it comes
Yes.
to putting the lineups together. Just keep things simple. And the Preds were rewarded by getting a power play goal against the Kings. So there you go. Plus for both the Predators power play, both in terms of execution on Saturday
Yes.
and personnel.
Yes, I agree. There was something I actually watching the game, I froze the game because I was like, look, Ryan Johansen's in the slot. It's not lava. And if you look, I think it was Matt Duchene was down by the net. And I'm like, it literally is the most beautiful thing when you see this team execute something so well. And there's something to be said for the vibe that the OG guys have, those 5 guys from last year. So yes,
Yeah.
100%. What that was a delight for a Saturday night in Smashville.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Probably do need to touch on some minuses, Nick.
Oh.
I mean, it's not our favorite thing. We are optimists. It's not our favorite thing. We are going to touch on a couple of minuses from the week. But first, want to let you know that, again, this episode is brought to you by our great new friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. Look, the NFL playoffs are here. I'm sure if you're anything like me, you watched a lot of football Saturday and Sunday too, along with the Predators game. And we are really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they are the #1 sportsbook in America, and that is FanDuel Sportsbook. And if you're new to FanDuel, hey, look, that's even better. They have so many great features for making betting on sports fun and so easy. So new customers, you can join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. So you can sign up at fanduel.com/locked on. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props, and you can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same game parlay. All of that is on an app that is safe, secure, and it is super easy to use. So football fans, don't miss out. You can place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, at fanduel.com/locked on. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
All right, Ann. It's plus minus, and we have some minuses.
Oh, we do.
We do. Go ahead and drop a minus for us.
Drop a minus.
Drop a minus.
And it's so funny because I want so much to focus on the pluses after such a great game Saturday, but this was a 4-game week, and friends, there was minuses to be had this week.
Oh, yes.
Like it or not. My first minus is dumb penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb penalties. Y'all, why are you sending the puck over the glass? You have played on the same size rink for how many years now? You don't understand the trajectory? That one is killing me this week. We had who was it in last night's game or Saturday night's game? I don't know if it was Tanner Jeannot or Mikael Granlund. They had a couple over the delay of game puck over the glass penalties. Y'all are killing me with that one. High sticks, you got to keep track of your stick. That's just a thing that I don't want to ever have to say again out loud, but that's just what's real, friends. And late penalties. There was a couple games this week where you had a late penalty. Philip Forsberg had a late penalty. I think it was in the St. Louis game where the Predators are ending a game killing off a penalty. Let us just not. And there are some, I understand, and we've talked about this. There are sometimes where you take a penalty. Nino Niederreiter took a penalty in one of the games to break up a shorthanded 2-on-none chance. Thank you, Nino.
Right. Why is that chance?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? But the dumb ones, y'all are killing me, especially delay of game. You know how big that rink is. You skate on it every day, y'all. Yeah. Stop with that. So for me, minus.
It was Mikael Granlund at the end of the Kings game with like a minute and a half left. And that was like how much, like the Preds were already up 5-3 at that point. But when that happened, Anne, what percentage of your brain
Oh,
just went, "Uh-oh,
ruh-roh. Oh, it was
this is gonna be a
100%.
much more tense last minute and a half."
It was 100% Scooby-Doo ruh-roh. When as
Yeah,
soon as that happened, I was like, "No, no, not this way. We're not gonna lose this way." And fortunately, they did not. But those are the things that you can clean up. I get that sometimes penalties happen, but those are the ones where I'm like, "Y'all, it is the same size rink.
yeah,
Killing me."
yeah. This is 100% a gettable stat,
Mhm.
that we didn't really think to pull, but there's gotta be some way to find out who has the most delay of game penalties in the NHL because I mean, it would have to be the Preds at this point, right?
I'm
I mean, there's
literally
like
like, "Don't pull that stat. I
yeah.
don't wanna see it in black and white."
I mean, we've had 2 in a game a couple of times this
Yeah.
season.
I that one just it hurt. And I understand, you're clear like, look, I get that it's harder than it looks, but y'all, you gotta know the angles, like the physics. You've gotta know. You've gotta know.
Yeah.
Killing me.
My minus, Anne, and I'll do this
Mhm.
quick. I've got to give one to 3-period hockey. Because if you look at this past week in Nashville Predators, the period
Yes.
itself has changed, but there's always it's kind of been the same story this week. There are 2 periods in which the Nashville Predators look like, okay, like close game. Maybe
Mhm.
the other team's got a little bit of advantage, but they're in it. Or they look like, wow, the Preds are absolutely dominating this one. There's going to be a runaway. And then
Yes.
there's one period in every game this week that it's like, I think the rink just exploded. Yeah, it's
Yes.
like you're seeing like those like flashbacks where it's just like, you see like Roman Josi get up slowly and his vision's blurred and there's like ringing going on and like you see like visions of like Braden Shen scoring another goal for the Blues and
No.
celebrating, and it's just like you're so shell shocked that you don't know what's happening. Against the LA Kings and the St. Louis Blues, that was the second period
Yes.
where it just everything kind of started to unravel and the Preds can get their bearings. Against Calgary and Columbus earlier this week, it was the third period. Those were the 2 games in which the Predators were dominating, like absolutely like running away with it. And then just the wheels fell off in the third period, and you had to rely on Saros and Lankinen respectively to get those
Mhm.
wins. Just want to see. We mentioned it, Ann. Like, when you and I were talking about, we would just love to see like the Predators average. I would love to see where this Predators team is when they play 3 fairly acceptable periods of hockey in the same game. I haven't really
Yes.
seen that a lot this season. And again, like we've said a million before, you're not going to dominate 60 minutes. No NHL team is. There are going to be stretches where the other team gets some
Mhm.
opportunities. If you can manage those, you're in pretty good shape. The Preds manage those well in 2 periods and then just epically collapse in 1 period.
Yeah.
Please clean that up.
60 minutes, friends.
Yes.
60 minutes. That's what we need. We just need 60 minutes of hockey because it would be amazing to watch that LA Kings game, that level of performance for 60 minutes against some of these teams this week. Love
Yeah.
to have watched that. Yeah.
That would make this job so much more fun.
Wouldn't it though? And Twitter.
And
So much more fun.
it would solve a lot of our mental health problems, that's for
It
sure.
would. It would.
And we can't end on a negative, right? We're
It's not who we
optimists.
are.
We like to see the good in people.
Mhm.
Would you care to end the show on a plus?
I would love to. I am going to end the show on a plus for one particular player. And there are several that I could choose from, but this one I really want to give a shout out for the highs and the lows and the highs of this week. And that is the captain, Roman Josi. Roman Josi had 5 points in 4 games this week. Here's what I will say. Roman Josi probably had one of the worst games I've seen him have against, I think it was St. Louis this week. He had a really rough game.
That was very bad for
Rough
Roman
game.
Josi, agree.
And Roman Josi's average play is still so terrific that when he plays below average, it is shocking to the eyes. It burns the retina a little bit. And that's what we saw against St. Louis. Roman Josi came back, had a 3-point game Saturday night. And here's the other thing I want to say about him. He is the captain of a team that has been struggling. And we were not in that meeting Saturday morning. The team did not feel the need, nor should they feel the need to disclose everything that was said in the team meeting Saturday morning that they had. But shout out to Roman Josi. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, he's not in guys' faces. He's not yelling like he is. Is he the leader that they need? Here is what I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet that in that meeting, Roman Josi may, in a quiet voice, be very capable of saying some hard things about himself and about his teammates in a way that is well received and well respected. So my last plus is Roman Josi on ice, way to turn it around and, again, finish the week very strong. But also, this is probably not an easy time to kind of shepherd this team. And so kudos to Roman Josi for sitting down and I really believe having, being a vehicle for frank conversations and accountability in the locker room.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it before, Anne. I feel like this whole conversation kind of came up too when Roman Josi was first named captain, where it's just like, hey, he's not like Mike Fisher, where he's this like, this veteran that's gonna, say it like it is and not sugarcoat things. But not every captain needs to be that way. He's like Roman Josi to me is the type of captain that, he's not always 100%, Mr. Serious all the time. But when he is, you shut up and listen. And to me, that's a sign of a good captain, I think, is when you're able to have that tough conversation. Do people buy in? Do people sit there and not just listen to say the next thing? Do they listen and absorb what their captain is saying? And if the game was any indication, I mean, the Preds came out with a win, not only a win, but they fought back to get it. They overcame some of those issues that had plagued them all season long. And so if that's the case, and Roman Josi did say something, it resonated with the team because overall, you take away that second period, the Preds played a pretty good game.
They did. That was enjoyable hockey to watch. And like I said, I'm even glad they went down because then look, dig deep, boys, and they figured out like we're a team that can fight back. Matt Duchene, as he left the ice, did you watch the post-game rinkside interview? Matt Duchene had a moment, talking about the game and this and that. And then as he left the ice, he said, "Keep believing, guys, all right?" And I thought, now I'm not 100% sure you're going to get buy-in on that, but I appreciate that sentiment from, just Matt Duchene in the veterans and leaders of the group. Give us something to believe in.
Yeah. Give us something to believe in. That's a song, right? That's a song from something, right?
It's give me something to believe in. It's like a early 90s hair rock song, I think. Give us something to, but I know where you're going with it. I was gonna do Journey, but I like where you took it.
Yeah, for sure. Don't stop. Yeah. People have tuned out already. Whatever.
One would hope. One would hope. Singing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Predators have an interesting week. They have 2 games this week, including one tomorrow against the Winnipeg Jets, and then 2 weeks off, which means I'm not looking forward to having to fill that content. But hey,
I've got some ideas.
We will do. There will be more singing, folks. Until we get there, Anne, where can people find your work?
You can find my work online at InsideThePreds.com, and you can find me on Twitter at AnnK_Mama on Ice.
You can find me at ontheforecheck.com for apparently another month and a half, or follow me on Twitter at _NS Morgan. While you're there, be sure to follow the show at LO_Predators. However, you're listening to us, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcasting platform, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll always know when we have a new episode out for you. That's going to do it on today's Locked On Predators podcast. Thank you for making us your first listen of the day. We'll be back tomorrow with some preview for Predators versus Jets. See you then.